And a lot of you guys probably never think. What just happened to my? How do I change?
You never rotated.
Oh, my.
Orientation line.
How do I change the orientation lock?
Just slide down and then.
My brown technician.
Yeah, so can help you?
Man, what kind of brown?
Wait, you don't know how to do that?
No, you don't use iPad.
Oh yeah, you're an
It's
Android.
not that
Yeah,
hard.
my Android
Oh, you have an
user.
Android? That's
Yeah.
tough. You need an iOS product.
Okay, what kind of brown technician are you?
I know I'm especially in Samsung.
I know that sounds so racist. Shoot. I'm so sorry. I was kidding.
You can have this. I stole it.
No, that's okay.
I need a pencil.
Okay, so
Damn, it's been live all the time.
how many of you guys have seen absolute value sign before? Have not seen absolute value sign before? Have not. You have not? Okay. So let me introduce you what the absolute value sign. Absolute value sign, basically you can turn any negative number, like say it like this. Okay? If I have absolute value a negative number, it's always positive. Ever seen this before?
No, yeah.
Okay? But absolute value of positive number is what?
4.
It's still positive. Okay? So let's talk about, we talked about last time when we talked about complex number. The absolute value complex number is distance from origin. So I think what the test question was -2 minus 3i. And we say what is the absolute value of this, which is called modulus in a way. So it's actually is a distance. We're able to graph that. It's going to be -2 and -3i. And that's the point. That's called -2 minus 3i. Remember this on the test?
Yeah.
And you're going to draw a triangle. And that triangle has 2 and 3, regardless what the unit is. And then you can say square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared. That answer is going to be square root 13, using Pythagorean identity. But that was the complex number. But what's the general absolute value? But in this case, that if I have absolute value you have to know is calculate the distance. Okay? So for example, if I have a distance from 2 to 6, what's the distance between A and B in this case?
4.
We know that. It's 4. Well, what if so I know it's 6 minus 2, right? We know it's a bigger number subtract smaller number. That's equal to 4. But what if I do 2 subtract 6?
-4.
It's equal to -4. But distance, can it be negative? No. So we invent a sign says absolute value. So the absolute value says this is always 4, regardless which part happened. So if in this case it's going to be -2 minus 6, it's going to be absolute value -4. That's equal to what? 4. So that absolute value is going to be much more easier to find the distance between places. And you work with negative number because what if I have -6 and -2? Or do I worry about which number I subtract because I don't know which ones I subtract this time? So then you can actually just say absolute value of -6 subtract -2. And then that's going to give me the absolute value of -6 plus 2. Because negative times negative is positive. That's the absolute value of -4. That's equal to 4. So in the sense that it doesn't matter what orientation I get, I'm always going to get a positive value, which is that's my distance. That's the nice thing about absolute value. Now you say, okay, well, what is the absolute value of x is equal to 2? And what is x? If I have absolute value of x is equal to 2, what is x?
2.
2 or -2.
2 or negative 2. So you think about negative, it's good. But you also think about also positive. Because technically, I can plug in 2 here. I can get 2, right?
Yeah.
As well as I plug in negative 2 in there, it's also going to be giving 2. So let's say x is equal to 2 and x equal to negative 2. So the 2 left. Are we okay? Where's my red marker? Anybody see my red marker?
Someone stole it, maybe.
Question about this part. There's no red marker in the back that looks like this way? Okay, that's okay. So what's the most important thing today? I'm gonna use flag then. So when you're solving absolute value, so solving absolute value equation, or inequality, you remember this acronym. I, KFC. I hate KFC.
Why?
I'm just
Aren't you
tell you,
vegetarian?
like, I'm vegetarian too. So who has boyfriend or girlfriend in this classroom? So I can roast you.
What side?
Everybody's looking at that direction, so who's over there? Kimberly? Who's your boyfriend? Molden? Is he cute?
Yes.
Oh, okay, at least she's honest. So I'm just gonna put you as an example, is that okay? You guys probably lovely together. But everybody looking at that direction because we know Kimberly has her boyfriend. So we're gonna assume that Kimberly break up with her boyfriend. Okay. So when I say the heart, this just means split. So we're gonna talk about what it means. I means isolation. Isolation of absolute value, so absolute value. Okay, so I means isolation, absolute value. So Kimberly's gonna tell her boyfriend Molden says we need a time to be on our spaces, right? Before you break up. We don't wanna be like text message and break up with you, right? So we need some spaces right now, right? So, and then, then you start to break apart. So every time you see them in 700 hallway, you're gonna saw them and you're gonna start walking the other directions. So you're gonna walk 2 different directions. So you split, right? This means split. And this means one person's gonna keep who you are, while just Kimberly is gonna just stay who you are. So you're gonna be keep. And this one is gonna be FC is your boyfriend's gonna be flip and upset and change it the way he is. So you're gonna keep it exactly the same way, and your boyfriend's gonna be like completely depressed and stuff like that because he cannot live without you. Okay? So let's kind of story set up. So we're gonna solve this equation. We're gonna say, hey, let's do the 2 of x minus 1. Absolute value minus 4 is equal to 10. Okay? So the first job is to isolate the absolute value. So you're gonna isolate them. So how do I isolate them?
Add 1 to both sides.
Add 1 to both sides? No. How do you isolate the absolute value? Absolute value is like this parenthesis. How do I isolate this parenthesis here?
Get rid of everything on the left side.
Well, everything except the absolute value. So what's the first thing I need to get rid of? The 4. Good. So think about it. You have a 2x minus 4 is equal to 10, right? What's the first thing I need to get rid of? 4, right? So that's equal to 2x is equal to 14, right? So pretty much I'm gonna add 4 on each side. So that's gonna be 2x minus 1 is equal to 14. Is that absolute value isolated? There was a 2 in the front, right? So what do I need to do?
Subtract 2.
Divide, no, not
No.
subtract, divide by 2 because this is connected by multiplication. And when you divide by 2, you don't want to divide by 2 inside. Please do not touch anything inside the absolute value. Do not change the sign. Do not touch it inside. Do not do anything inside the absolute value. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You're going to keep in your own space. Do not touch them.
Alright,
Okay?
copy.
So this 2 is going to cancel. That's going to be cancelled divided by 2. So it's going to be x minus 1 is equal to 7. Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay. So now you isolate. So Kimberly and Morden's isolate. You have own space. Nobody touch them. Inside of survival seat, nobody touch them.
So that's 8.
You just isolate in your own space. Now Kimberly is gonna send them a text. I break it up with you, right? So it's gonna be x minus 1 is equal to 7. Kimberly is gonna keep the way she is. Okay. And so we call this side keep. And this one's gonna be flip and change. So I just dropped the absolute value sign. And now here is gonna be x minus 1 is equal to, well, I'm gonna flip the sign. What do I mean by flip? Well, when I flip equal sign, it's still equal, so which is nice. Equal sign doesn't have to worry about it, okay? So I'm gonna equal that. If I flip the equal sign, still equal sign. But if I have greater than sign, then I'll switch to less than. So equal sign doesn't do anything. But if you have inequality, it changes. So now equal to what? Negative 7. Make sure that's negative. Okay? Oh, I do have red.
Wow, mister.
All the time I had it. So negative 7. Make sure this is equal. I flip, that don't change anything. And then now I can solve each equation. I can solve each equation. I can say x is equal to plus 1, so it's 8. And x plus 1 is going to be set, negative 6. A lot of people just say, oh yeah, the answer is 8 and negative 8. No. The number usually never the same. One's 8, one's negative 6. Think about it. If I plug in negative 6, what happened? If I plug in negative 6 minus 1 is what? Negative 7. Absolute value of negative 7 is what? 7. 7 times 2? 14. 14 minus 4? 10, which is perfect. If I plug in 8 minus 1, same thing. Yes?
So those are the answers?
Those are the answers. You got 2 answers here. Okay?
Wait, really? Wait, hold on.
Now I'm going to do the second one. My second question is, I'm still going to follow this format, flip and change. So if I have 3 times 2x minus 1 minus 2, that's equal to 10, like this. Oh, I'm going to not change to equal to, I'm going to change into greater than, like this. So now we have an inequality equation, not an equation, inequality equation. And there's only small tiny things change. It's not everything's changed. So we're gonna say, hey, what do we do first step? Isolate. You need to be alone first. I need some time to think. I can't really see I'm teaching you how to break up with your boyfriend. So that's gonna be 3, and 2x minus 1 is greater than 12. I add 2 on both sides. Okay. Am I going too fast?
No.
What's the next thing I have to do? Okay, divide by 3, right? You say I don't want no phone calls either, right? And now I only need a space, I need no phone calls, I need to isolate completely. greater than what? Now, do I divide it by anything inside? No, do not touch anything inside. Absolute value, do not touch. So that's going to be 4. And then you say, okay, that's good. We get down to this position, right? Then you're going to send them a text and break up with you. You're going to keep where you are. So this side is going to be keep. Okay, so it's going to be 2x minus 1 is greater than 4. Now this side is kind of complicated, so we're going to use in red. So this one's going to be flip and change. What am I flip this one? 2x minus 1 what? Less than?
-4.
-4. Good. Now you got this. You say, okay, I got this. I'm going to go ahead and solve for it. I'm going to plus 1 on both sides. So it'll be 2x greater than 5 divided by 2. X is greater than 5 or 2. Now here it's going to be 2x minus 1, so I'm going to add 1. So it'll be 2x less than -3. X is less than -3 over 2. So those are the two solutions. Can I graph those solutions?
Yeah.
Okay, let's graph it. Right, it's going to be 5 over 2. And this is a -3 over 2. I'm going to draw a circle on the top. Am I going too fast?
No.
Okay, so x is less than -3 over 2, so which direction I'm going? Left side, right? And right side is going to be here, and there's a -infinity and infinity. And that's my solution for the graphic. Now your solution can either go in this way, so if you break up with somebody, you're going to go your own way, right? Or you can go back together, just like Kimberly is going to go back together with the boyfriend. Says, oh, maybe it's not so bad. Other guy's pretty ugly in Cyprus, so no offense, Nicholas. So, Kimberly decided to go back with his boyfriend. So either your solution, either like they join together or they split, but never ever absolute value, never ever this way. Like two don't face in one direction. That means you follow somebody after they break up, and that'll be a creep, right? So you never follow another person. You just either you'll split or join back together, but do not follow. If you follow, that means you got a wrong answer. Got it? So that's kind of my story of solving absolute value equation. So how do I do interval notation? I'm gonna read from left to right. Ellie's already fall asleep. No, you asleep. So it's gonna be -infinity to -3 over 2. Why is a parenthesis? Because it's an open circle. Union of 5 over 2 to infinity. Parenthesis. If it's a closed circle, if this is a greater equal to or less equal to, therefore it's gonna be what?
Bracket.
Bracket. So bracket, but not an infinity part. But also make sure the order is correct. It's from left to right. It's not -3 over 2 to -infinity. And it's not infinity to 5 over 2. Okay? You're gonna try a couple questions. One is this questions here, and one is this questions here. So we got 2 questions. Do you try?
What is in between the parentheses?
It's called union. That means the U, that means this interval or this interval. Okay? You don't have to put it there, but it's always nice to know that. That's called union simple. So that way it's going to help you. This is union. That means or. This interval or this interval is all solutions. So you're going to try those 2 questions here.
Oh.
Those 2 questions here. Try the first one and try the second one. Make sure you get the right answer. And make sure you can graph it. Alright. X equal to 10, x equal to -6, I believe the first one.
Is
If you have
it?
any question, you can go back.
It's still recording.
Okay, okay. I have to